What's up, guys? I'm Excel.
I'm Andrew, and
We're
third time's the charm, baby. Third time's the charm. Episode 3, Frank's episode. And you might notice it's not just the two of us. We actually have 4 people in the room because we have 2 guests with us.
Who are you guys? Whoa.
Yeah.
So my name is Miguel. I go to Stockton University, and my music tastes are kind of just contemporary, R&B, indie, jazz mostly also, but that's where
Quick
I
question.
usually go. Yeah.
What's some of your favorite artists?
My favorite artists?
in that genre?
Ooh,
Just a couple.
Tiana Taylor, Ari
Nice.
Lennox, let's
Ooh.
see, J. Cole, Jid.
I love Jid.
Yeah, and then I mean you put me on the spot, so like.
No,
I
that's
gotta go-
fine. That's
you know what I
fine.
mean?
That's enough. That's more than I was
Yeah.
expecting. I was expecting like one artist.
Yeah.
So who are you?
All right, hello guys. My name is Jonathan, and I go to Atlantic. I was about to say Atlantic City. I go to Atlantic Cape Community College,
Word.
and my music taste is really general all around, except for country. I don't know about that, but everything else, I'll
Do
give
you
it
have
a
any-
listen. If I like, I'll go more into it. But if
Word.
not, then maybe next time. But
Do you have any particular artists that you enjoy?
well, Frank Ocean was one. And
That's- yeah.
Not Juice WRLD. He's another one. But I like listening to his old music a lot more
Yeah.
than his new.
No, I feel you. I feel you.
Old music is always the best.
Goes to
Yeah.
them, digs deep into SoundCloud.
Yeah, my playlist go whole
Yeah.
drop list.
Word.
Yeah, word.
So,
So before we get into our main topic, we have one piece of music news that only I seem to care about or know any background information.
word.
So I'll take it from here for a minute, you guys, if you don't mind. Harry Styles, he announced his second full-length LP. It's called Fine Line. For those unfamiliar, Harry Styles is a British pop star who was formerly a member of insanely popular boy band One Direction. I didn't really care for them. They have since disbanded or are on a break and are making their own solo music. And Harry Styles, I really enjoyed his first album. It was self-titled, called Harry Styles. It was a very nice blend of pop and rock that is very unique for nowadays. And he's already released his first single, Lights Up, from this new LP, which is one of my favorite tracks of the year, without a doubt. Again, nice blend of pop rock with some classic influences like Bowie. And so that's pretty much it for the first piece. We do have a second piece of music news, which has to do with our main topic. So, Excel, if you'd like to introduce us into that.
So it was like Saturday morning when I saw the news.
Yeah,
that
so it was like Friday after midnight. So
Really?
maybe midnight Pacific time.
probably. Frank Ocean dropped a new single called "In My Room," and it's like it's a nice flow of like rap and like it's like trippy. I
Yeah.
like it a lot. It's like
Yeah, it's
in my opinion,
interesting.
it's better than the other single he dropped.
Yeah, it's interesting that he's really going more of a rap direction.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's always been somewhat of a rapper, but like he's mostly, for Blonde at least, very much used his singing and his R&B and his mixing.
Yeah.
So
How do you
it's
feel?
interesting.
Oh, my bad.
What were you saying?
I said, how do you feel about the track?
I enjoy it. I don't know if I like it as much as DHL.
Okay.
It's a little short for me, I would say. I feel like it kind of, and I don't mind short songs, but by short I mean it kind of ends abruptly. Like I feel like more could have been done on this track, and he just kind of decides. I mean, I get it; it's cool. It's a very Frank Ocean thing to do, to just cut it off while it's going hot. But I mean, probably on the album it'll make more sense, which we've yet to get a confirmation of, but it's gonna happen one day. But yeah, so I enjoy it.
Word.
I enjoy it. What do you think, Miguel?
So with In My Room, I like to agree with XL about actual it's trippy and it's has a nice flow to it. I think he really is going for definitely an experimental approach from what you can see from
Yeah,
his
definitely,
previous
definitely.
discography. From like I mean, he won the Grammy for contemporary R&B, so like it's kind of like indie-ish from Channel Orange, and then you kind of go into Blonde, which is more R&B-esque, and then now you're going into more R&B trap.
And
So
it's interesting because Blonde is somewhat experimental with tracks like Nikes and like
Pink plus White.
Pink
Ivy.
plus
I love
White.
that
There is
song.
some experimental,
Yeah.
but he's definitely going even a step further this
Yeah.
time.
Oh yeah.
What do you think, Jonathan?
Honestly, I agree with what they say too. I
Yeah.
feel like because when you listen to those lyrics, you can hear his verses and everything, and he's like, damn, he's rapping, but in a different flow. Like
Yeah.
he's not rapping it based off like not to come crazy at any like current rappers, but you know how they use mainly the same beats and everything.
Yeah, the triplet flow.
Yeah, but he's
Mm.
doing it off a different thing, and you listen, you're like, wow, it gets really
Yeah.
good. But honestly, I like both singles, DHL too.
Yeah.
Like that grows on you, and you keep listening.
It
and
does.
listening, you grow on that piece of music, and I'm just like, wow. Like at first, I was just like, okay, I don't know what he just said, but when you listen to it, wow, it's
Mm.
good.
I don't know if you guys noticed. I don't know if it's me, but I think I noticed that he didn't do any like pitch changes to his voice in this song.
Oh wow, I didn't think about it, but that is
No.
interesting.
But that's a really common thing Frank Ocean to do. He like changes his pitch of his voice
Mhm.
in most of his songs, and like I think this one he didn't even do it. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
But that's not to say that he might not do that for the new album.
No,
I mean-
I'm sure he did it on DHL.
he
a
did it on
bit.
DHL for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, but so I wanted to ask you, do you guys both like In My Room more than DHL? Do you think, or you're not sure yet?
Personally, for me, DHL.
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
agree too.
Because I do.
No, go on. You good.
Okay, I do agree with you guys. In My Room's a great track, and it is trippy. It is all of those things. It's just, again, I feel like if it was 3.5 minutes instead of 2.5 minutes, I'd enjoy it more. But I also feel like DHL is more of Frank's sound, which I'm not saying he can't go into different sounds. I like that he's doing it In My Room. I like it. It's just like when you have a sound, you tend to be better at it. You tend to have he's perfected that chill, lo-fi R&B sound that is found on DHL.
Yeah.
While this seems like something new that he's already really good at, I can't wait to see how he progresses from here, especially when over the span of a full-length album.
Oh yeah.
But what were you gonna say, Jonathan?
No, I was gonna say that. Yeah, I agree with what you say about it, because he ended his music like 2.5 minutes. I'm like, damn, I need more. I need more to
Mhm.
it. So I gotta press replay.
Yeah,
and it's-
exactly.
And it gets catchy, but it's like, wow, like he's just missing that one little piece, and it was
Yeah.
so nice.
Like I remember, I literally was texting Axel, and yeah, I was texting him, like he was like, "Yo, we gotta talk about Frank," because we already talked about how we were gonna talk about Frank, and he was like, "Yeah, we definitely have to now." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "He dropped a new song." So I was listening. I was texting him the whole time. I was like, "Jesus, this is awesome." I was like, and I remember I texted like, "Wait, it's already over." I was like,
Yeah,
literally,
I
I'm gonna
remember
find
that.
them. I literally was like, "What the heck, man? Like this is BS." Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I do very much enjoy this track. Let me see. I do have the message right here.
And I quote.
I said, "Damn, it ended already. WTF? Too short, man." And then I said I was not expecting that.
No, yeah, not at all.
And I was saying during, I said this beat is I said Frank is spitting bars. This is wild. WTF? This beat is disgusting. I said, "Damn, it ended." So that's pretty much my thought process going into it.
So like
Nice.
I don't really follow much like I like Frank Ocean. I don't follow much him on like the Blondie Radio he does. But like every time he goes on Blondie Radio, does he release a single or not? Like,
Most of the time,
Yeah, that's basically.
or
what
like a
it is.
remix.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's what it is. I mean, I don't know if you guys heard his like unreleased. Like they like release his music, but on a different artist name. It's
Oh.
like Kayedo. I don't know if
you
heard
you
that
sent
one
it to me. I remember that.
Yeah.
I've never heard
You
of
haven't
that.
heard it yet?
That's
Yo,
I
interesting.
know.
It's,
I remember
it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I posted it on my story, and you're like, "What? This released?" It was
Oh, the song Kanye.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Nah, I think it's like."
You said Frank speaking Spanish, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What the heck is
Yeah.
that?"
Like what the? That's what I was shocked too. I was like, yeah.
You didn't even send it to me or nothing.
It's mad fluent too. I was like, it sounds mad fluent, like it's fluent.
So that was a leak, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's another song called "Dear April," right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Dear April.
mhm.
That one's good too.
That one was good.
I haven't gotten to
Interesting.
listen to it though, but the lyrics themselves are just, it's definitely Frank-esque.
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
lyrics,
that's
so,
interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, we all agree In My Room is a good track. We pretty much talked about DHL. I mean, is there anything you guys want to add about DHL specifically so we can get more into that? I mean, for me, I think we kind of covered it for what I want to talk about. I like the track a lot. Very lo-fi, indie, chill, very Frank.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. What about you?
Well, with DHL, I think if anything, it definitely goes back to its roots of it reminds me of Channel Orange, but not necessarily like Channel Orange. Like how people are like, oh, I always like to listen to the old music, yada 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 of artists.
Right.
But I think Frank definitely blends old with new in DHL. So I think it's a nice song that
Definitely.
gives listeners like both aspects of
Yeah, like kind of giving them what they want, but also like something different.
still experimenting.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What about you, Jonathan? Anything you'd like to add?
Well, I mean, I agree with what he says too. It blends old music with his new music, and like I feel like it does remind me of Channel Orange a lot. It really does. I don't know what particular song, but I feel like it does remind me of a song. I just can't pinpoint which one it would be.
It definitely to me is a mix of Channel Orange and Blonde. I didn't think about that because it has the experimentalness of
Mhm.
Blonde with the chillness of Channel Orange. That's interesting.
Yeah.
How about you, Axel?
I definitely want to say DHL is like a trip. Like it definitely is, bro. Like just the intro is just so like it's hard to describe. It's like
It's taking you on a journey, bro.
definitely, most definitely, yeah. But I like I like his like his
Bucks.
pitch change and all
Yeah.
that. Like it's nice. I like
That's
it.
coming soon. That's because you suck. yeah.
Tell me about the copyright is.
Yeah, nah, we're allowed to sing. That's the difference. We're allowed to
You're
sing.
right, you're right.
It's our own
But yeah,
vocals.
that's pretty much it. I like it.
If it's bad singing, it doesn't
Yeah,
count.
I'm gonna be like, oh, okay. no.
Yeah. So yeah. So do you guys just want to get into a bit of Frank Ocean in general now?
Yeah,
Already
yeah,
covered
that's
the
cool.
new singles. I mean, new album hopefully coming soon. We haven't heard anything about it. We don't have a title. We don't have a track list.
What I
Um,
think
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the when he releases the single on the bottom, like I want to say the bottom right,
Ooh,
there are like figures at the bottom and like
there's something different though. I know what you're talking about. The first one only had 13.
okay,
Yeah.
The DHL only had 13 on the bottom.
okay.
In My Room had 17
Ooh.
That's different.
with 4 different pictures.
Ooh. He's
The-
adding some.
He had tracks or something.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels like it's,
And apparently Blonde and Channel Orange are both 17 songs long. Which
Whoa.
I can't. I read that. I'll confirm that.
Yes.
Can you see?
But
it?
So in this, you can see like the bottom. I can't really. I don't want to like just count now.
No, I'm gonna check. I got it. I
Yeah,
got it.
nice,
But
nice.
yeah, 17 songs and 17 songs. Yeah, wow. That's dope. I mean,
Interesting. He's following like a
and-
little like pattern here.
yeah. Let me.
Yeah,
How
it's-
How much was Blonde?
Blonde was 17 songs. Blonde and Channel Orange were 17, which is a lot of songs.
Yeah.
But also Blonde, you gotta remember it does have skits.
Yeah, it has
But then also
skits.
Channel Orange has like Fertilizer.
Yeah.
It has the start track, which is like 40 seconds of
And-
white noise.
Yeah, that's
So,
true. It's mainly
mean-
I think one of his tracks or two was from his mom too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's-
Oh,
Be
Be
yourself.
Yourself.
Mhm.
I like
Yeah,
that one.
iconic.
I always listen to
um,
that. I'm like, yo, I gotta look for inspiration.
Facts. But yeah,
Um,
that's interesting how he's like
There were really like 14 tracks on Blonde, taking away the skits.
Wow.
Mhm.
Oh wow. Okay.
So, what were you gonna say, Axel?
I think that's cool that he probably like is teasing like a track list, not a track list, but like that could be how many songs could be, and like I feel like the song that's highlighted, I mean the figure that's highlighted is the song.
It
in,
is
in
yeah.
that order.
It's
So, yeah,
very
I thought that was
cool.
pretty cool.
Very
Mhm.
cool. I've never seen something like that. It's very interesting.
Yeah, like he's putting like something that is trying to confirm that he has, something going on. But then again, I feel like he's releasing single by single, and it's smart of him because it's a lot of people like Frank Ocean, so they're probably like, oh my god, I've been waiting so
Mm.
long for his music. Drops one single, boom, a lot of people listen, and they're like, okay, we gotta wait for another one, boom. Drops another single,
Yeah.
a lot of people start listening more because
I
they're, like,
think
they're
yeah.
anticipating something to come. But knowing him, you never know what he's gonna do. He could easily just boom after those two, wait another 2 years. and
Yeah, he
got-
could go right
yeah,
in back
single.
into the woods. I think he's gonna release at least another single before an album.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna just leave it with these two. I think he's gonna drop one more.
He has a plan for
Is-
sure. Definitely.
If there's one thing Frank Ocean does have, it's a plan.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm,
Oh, yeah.
always.
Is Frank Ocean signed to a label at the moment, or
It's a good
I think
question.
He's a free. Nah, I think he's free ever since he separated from
Def Jam?
Def
right?
Jam. Yep. Mhm.
Insane.
You want to speak about that, Axel? I thought you wanted to.
You guys want to speak about it now, or like you guys want to talk about Frank Ocean's discography?
Right on the bottom, it just says Blonded.
Yeah, that's
So
his
I
own
think
thing. Yeah,
that's-
that's his
Yeah.
own thing.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Meanwhile, on Channel Orange, it says the Island Def Jam Music Group. So
Ooh.
he has his own label.
Yeah.
That's
Good.
cool. Getting all his own royalties.
Before we talk about what he did with the whole labels, let's get back into his early days before we
sure.
get into that. Just
Mhm.
give some brief background.
Nice. Yeah.
Frank Ocean got his start in the hip hop collective Odd Future, Wolfgang, Kill Them All. And I never really listened to this guys. I watched their Adult Swim show, Loiter Squad, which was very funny.
Yeah.
But I was never really into the music because that was before I really even listened to music. And if I was listening to music, it was either classic rock or like comedy rock, which I guess they are kind of funny.
Yeah.
But that's why I like the show.
Yeah.
The only one I really recognized from the show, the only ones I recognized were Tyler and Taco.
Earl was in
sometimes-
there
I didn't.
too, yeah.
Earl. No, I know Earl. Like I didn't recognize Earl. I didn't remember
Oh.
who Earl was. Like every time I watch, I'd be like, "Oh, there's Tyler." I'd be like, "Oh, there's Taco." Only I remember Taco because his name was Taco.
Yeah.
Being real, Earl was. I just I had bad memory as a kid. And Frank, was he even in Loiter Squad? Like he was in like an episode or something.
I don't recall after watching some snippets on like on the internet. I don't think so, but I just know that he was like in some parts of the album, like for Odd
Yeah.
Future.
Well, I'm talking about the show.
Oh, show wise,
I don't think he was in the show at all. But yeah, in the album, he's barely in it.
No.
So,
He only has a few features. But
Yeah,
that's
so I'll let you guys talk about him in Odd Future. 'Cause if you, for those, Jonathan, you said you listen to Odd Future a bit, or
Well, a little bit, but not really. That was only when it included some of his music, and then I would
Yeah.
listen to Tyler.
so what?
That's really
What
it.
was Frank like on Odd Future tracks? Was he rapping more? Was he still
Yeah, he
just
was-
providing like a
Yeah.
chorus singing? What would he do?
Yeah, he was mainly rapping. Like I feel like he participated in what they were singing a lot. Like what was that one song with Tyler? I forget that.
It was oldie. So that was
Yeah.
that was
Oh,
a
I
10
love
minute
Oldie.
track, oldie.
That's yeah, Oldie. That's a great track. That's one of the
Yeah.
ones I've heard from them.
Yeah.
I remember he goes off on that
Yeah.
one.
Mm-hmm.
No, so Frank's verse on oldie, I think it's definitely it's rap, R&B rap esque. There is one song I do remember because I remember playing piano for it. It's I forgot the title, but it's in that album of Odd Future. It's very now that song is definitely Frank esque. It's just straight him singing, rapping esque, and then just a piano. So that's
Mhm.
definitely like yeah.
Because from the way I seem to understand, Frank is very similar to how, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Brockhampton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
How they utilize Bareface. I feel like it's very similar to how Odd Future utilized Frank, where especially with the early tracks, Bareface was only on like one or two songs an album, and now you see him kind of indulging into like rapping a bit. Very minimal though. If he has a verse, it's like 4 lines and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, but he is starting to rap a little, but mainly they use him for some R&B type singing. And I don't know if that's true because I've never really listened to Odd Future, but that's just how from an outsider I see it.
No, I could definitely I see that perspective. Yeah.
Frank is obviously better than Bareface, I'd say. I mean, who knows? Bareface hasn't released any solo music.
Mm-hmm.
I actually do really like Bareface. I think he has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Frank,
Yeah.
and Frank's on another level.
No, most
he
definitely.
is.
But yeah. So Odd Future, did you ever listen to?
I remember
Future?
I was scrolling to Twitter one day and Genius posted, "Man, we need some more Frank Ocean rapping." And I remember it was like this. I think it was like a cipher, right? It was Frank Ocean, Tyler, Earl, and it was
Mhm.
like this one like clip of Frank Ocean. I think he was like sipping tea or something. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. He was just
I
like,
feel like I do.
and he was just rapping. Like it was like a really nice flow, but like I don't really go back to like too far there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's mainly how I stumbled upon him. Odd Future, because I have a friend. Well, we don't speak anymore like that, but his name was Pablo, and he was like, "Yo, give this guy a listen." It was Frank Ocean, so I was like, "Alright." So then that's when he always kept talking about like Odd Future and everything. So I was like, "Alright, like I'm gonna see what's up," and that's how I mainly started to listen to. I was like, "Wow, like, he's really different apart from everybody else." Like I like Tyler's music too,
I love Tyler's
like
music.
Earl too. When he
Earl's
does his
great. New EP
little
just
verse.
came out.
Mhm. Exactly. So I was just like, oh yeah, these are all good. But then I kept listening to Frank Ocean. I was like, wow, he can really make music like that. It's just crazy.
I just love how no matter what you do, you're always going back to Frank Ocean. Like
Oh, yeah.
always like, oh yeah, I'm listening to
Definitely.
Tyler. All of a sudden, just like when the day's over, it's like just put some
That's a good point. There's never a bad situation
yeah
to listen to
never.
Frank. Tyler, you kind of got to be in the mood for some stuff.
Mhm.
I think Igor is kind of one way you can play in any situation, but his old stuff, you definitely have to be in a mood.
Oh man.
You have to be in a certain type. You have to be in a certain type of way to listen to his old stuff.
Yeah,
Frank, yeah, Frank. Like you could just use him as background music,
Yeah.
but you could also just literally be focused on nothing but the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
With
think that's
headphones
You're
on.
enveloped with his lyrics and with the beat, and you're just like.
But it's
either
also
you're there or you're
yes, it's also so pleasant that you can just kind of turn your mind off and just not. I've fallen asleep many times to Frank Ocean just because how nice it is, how nice sounding it is. If
Yeah.
I just like choose to shut my mind off, I'll just rest my eyes and pass out because of how nice his voice is.
It's meditation music.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
basically
is. It really
is.
Like, I could just like, oh, if I have like a
yeah.
bad day, and I'll just be alright. Like I need. To,
All
like, calm
right, I'ma
down.
head out.
Yeah.
word.
But,
Legit.
I think. Wait, what was it? Blonde, Ivy. I see. I think when I was preparing for this podcast, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna say it. So like, are you guys familiar with Marvin's Room by
Yeah.
Drake?
Yeah.
So I feel like, so Marvin's Room is very Moody-esque. So then, this decade, 2020, from 2010 to 2020, this decade, that's Ivy from Blonde. That's this decade's Marvin's Room.
Interesting.
Yeah, it really is, because I can see what you mean. Like,
know what I
everybody,
mean?
when they're heartbroken, they always
Yup.
listen to Marvin's Room.
So,
I've
like,
never
right-
heard of that.
So like, I how about this? So right, with Marvin's Room, there's still an era of masculinity found. It's like, oh, I'm heartbroken, but I'm gonna pick back up. But with Ivy, it's like it's so unapologetically sad.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never
want-
saw
They're
it
not-
like that.
You just want
Yeah,
to
that's
with
interesting.
depression and sadness, and you just want to stay in that
It
mood.
really-
you don't want to like
really like encapsulates today's society more about how like,
Exactly.
hey, like you don't have to act tough. Like
Exactly.
men are allowed
Yeah,
to cry
yeah.
now. You know.
So
It's
I
like,
think that's what's amazing about what Frank Ocean's. It's experimental. You know what I mean? So
I like that a lot actually.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was a cool explanation, man. I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, I was thinking
Word.
about that. I was like, because I was listening to that, and then I listened to Ivy because it just happened to be next in my playlist, and I was like, huh.
that's
Yo,
that's
that's
wild. Spotify does wonders sometimes. Is it Spotify?
Yeah, with their
Yeah,
freaking
they do
shuffle.
wonders,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. I was like, oh, shit.
They have you stumble upon greatness out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
Yeah.
That's really crazy.
So yeah,
You
That's-
guys, you guys ever listen to like other unreleased, like what was it?
Not
Unreleased
really.
music or whatever.
I believe so. Yeah. I
Listen to some of that, but it's like so hard to find that music because it's legit
Yeah.
unreleased.
I don't.
Like,
Yeah, I don't indulge much into unreleased music. The only ones I do are Brockhampton, just because they literally will play a whole song on Instagram Live in like high quality and then just never release it. So it's very easy to find.
Oh no. Yeah.
And they also post trailers with songs that they never release. Like they have a song. I don't even heard this is off topic, but Bankroll. They were like going on tour, and then at the end of the video, they played a song called Bankroll with ASAP Rocky featured in it.
oh, man.
It's just like a really dope show. It's just like, and I ain't no oil tycoon, I don't want my girl to. And then it's like, you ain't no bankroll. And then they just never released it.
At all?
They got an ASAP feature, and they just were like, nah, we don't need it.
Ooh.
I don't know if it was like the label told, like they didn't get it approved, so they weren't allowed to, but that's crazy. Anyway, yeah, I have not very much listened to any of Frank's
The underground
unreleased.
Frank Ocean music is definitely if you listen to Nostalgia Ultra, I have only listened just to
Oh.
a few.
Does
It's
Nostalgia
like-
Ultra count as unreleased?
it-
Oh,
it
so it's like a
basically-
mixtape.
yeah.
You mean
Only
mixtapes?
a
I've
few-
listened to some of it.
Yeah, because like if you go to like people who are like Frank Ocean fans, it's like, yeah, what's Nostalgia Ultra? Is that a new album? It's like,
Yeah,
you
it's
think like, why? You know,
Facts.
I mean, I haven't listened to it, but I just know the beat, the aesthetic of it
Yeah.
all, and it's.
I'm
definitely,
aware
like-
of it.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's definitely similar to that of his unreleased music.
So has anybody here really listened to Nostalgia Ultra?
Yeah, I have. I really skimmed upon it. Like, I would always listen to it, but I feel like for other people, because they like, I guess, knew Frank Ocean, they would be like, this isn't like my type of Frank Ocean. But like, that's where he started to. I feel like that's his starting point to where he actually started to become diverse, because that's where you hear all of his different music production, like his let's say his rhythm and beat to it. I was just like, wow, I think that's where he sparked it up from. So like some of his songs from there, like Rocket. No, that's from the other. Like such as Novocaine was one. I love
Mhm.
that.
I know
song.
Nova
Novocaine.
King, yeah, that one's on
I
Spotify.
love Strawberry Swing. They did
Yeah.
that cover for Coldplay. That was
Yeah.
a good one. I like
Word.
his verse on there. I like We All Tried.
Swim
That's
Good.
really good.
Swim Good
Swim
is-
Good. Like those are all just like where it started from. Just like wow, like really got encompassed.
Yeah, for a first real project, solid starting point.
Yeah, man. I mean, if we're talking about Nostalgia Ultra, the only song I had to move on was Novocaine, which is only on Spotify too, so
Mm.
that's pretty cool. I like it. It's
Mm.
chill. That was
Yeah.
2011, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
2011, yeah.
This is way back
Uh,
then.
Yeah, 2011. That's crazy.
Just
It's
to
crazy.
think-
That's what 8 years ago,
Mhm.
my God.
dude.
Time flies.
I was
I feel like-
10.
Yeah, I feel like
Oh, man.
2011 isn't like that far.
Yeah,
back,
no.
like-
And all of a sudden you look back, you're like, wow, I was just still like in middle school, or
Right.
like in some other kind of school, not
Mhm.
now. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but it's amazing to know that from Nostalgia Ultra, you know, not even I think 2 years, then you have Channel Orange, and then
Yeah.
it's like it just exponential growth. He started
Mhm.
off with like just as a low key artist, but then just shot up to fandom, winning a Grammy. You know what I mean with
Yeah, so-
with
Yeah.
Channel
Real
Orange.
quick, just Channel Orange dropped on July 10th, 2012.
Wow,
So
ooh, a year.
within, pretty much a year. Maybe it was later than a year. If he, I don't know what month he released Nostalgia, but yeah. So a year later to come out with such a well put together iconic.
And that's
Like,
basically his first like actual album.
Yeah,
that he released, 'cause
first-
He doesn't consider. They don't consider those. I think they consider
Yeah.
those just as mixtapes.
yeah, Nostalgia Ultra is now on iTunes.
Yeah.
So.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's wild that such short time to come up with such a grand piece of
He beat
music.
Chris Brown and what was it? And like the contemporary, like for that
Mhm.
for
The
their
nominees.
Yeah, he beat Chris Brown. I
Right.
forgot who the other artist was. I don't know. I forgot.
Yeah, but that's
But the fact-
that's a big name.
The fact that I think I remember too in the video for when he won, like Chris Brown and the other artists, they didn't. If you had Frank Ocean had a standing ovation, those two artists just stayed down. I was like, wow, like
yeah,
the absolute disrespect.
I mean,
But like,
honestly, you're like, in a way, like an iconic R&B dude. You're getting beat by some kid.
that's true.
Never heard of a kid named Frank.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
I'd
yeah.
be a little annoyed.
That, that's true. Yeah, you're
But
right.
yeah, I mean, they should have showed some class. But,
Yeah, but
I
then
mean,
again,
we don't. I mean, I'm not surprised Chris Brown did not show any. He's not one to be respectful in these
Yeah,
type
He
of
don't even
situations.
respect his own wife.
Yeah.
Doesn't Frank Ocean and like Chris Brown have like some beef going on? Not now, but like back then they had some
Oh,
beef
yeah.
going on.
Mhm.
It's. I don't know, but I'm gonna guess it's all on Chris Brown's end.
Yeah.
And that Frank
Probably.
probably hasn't said anything.
Nope.
But
Not at all.
So you guys want to talk about Channel Orange
Yes.
itself, the album
Yeah.
itself?
take it away, XL.
How do you guys Well, this was obviously released in 2012, right? We were,
Yeah,
like-
no, this was 2012. Yeah.
Yeah.
my bad.
How old were we? Like 12. I was like 12.
I was 11.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was 11, I believe.
Word. So
I was around there.
Yeah.
like the whole aesthetic of the album is like amazing. Like what emotions would you like consider in this album?
Go.
Carefree. I want to say carefree.
Okay.
There's a
That's
lot
a good
of
one.
there's a lot of I know when I picked up on it, I definitely then again we were just I mean we were young teens, so like a young teen listening to R&B, it's like you're listening to it for the aesthetic and for the like, oh yeah, I'm a rebel-esque type person, so like
Mm.
back then, yes, that was for that kind of reason. But for now, you look back and you listen to Channel Orange in 2019, and it's more. Now you're listening to more reverence. There's more respect towards it. I mean, my personal favorite song from Channel Orange would be Sierra Leone. Personally,
Great
Just
song.
because
It's a great song. Not my favorite, but a great song.
like it's the beat for it goes. It's simple, but then I think because everyone likes Thinking About You. That's where he actually sings the most. But if you listen to Sierra Leone, he's kind of blending rapping with singing. So like the very third act, he's singing.
Mm.
He's combining lyrics like, I'll sing. What was it? Can I say lyrics?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're allowed
So,
to
like,
sing.
He was like, I'll sing a Lennon lullaby, like a John Lennon lullaby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like Lennon, yeah.
Like a Wait.
I get what
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
go-
No, it's like,
I
it's
get it.
very, it's
Yeah.
very like aesthetic. It's
Okay.
very
So
aesthetic,
I'm
yeah.
gonna take it from here because my favorite song from the album, I have two, but my one I go back to the most probably is the next track on the album, Sweet Life. I love Sweet Life. That's another very similar blend of R&B singing and rap.
Yeah.
I love the chorus, like like I just feel like it's the pinnacle of Frank Ocean at the time in my eyes, and there's so many good songs. I'll mention right now my other favorite song is Super Rich Kids with Earl Sweatshirt. It's completely different vibes.
I have a fun
Yeah.
fact actually about
Ooh.
this. So Axel and I were part of Stockton Music Union, and
Oh, yeah.
actually, one of my bands, we actually played Super Rich Kids.
That's awesome.
Now-
it's very
and
that's
I did
interesting.
the rapping, and I was like,
Oh yeah,
it's
close
it's
your
hard.
eyes
It's
to what
definitely
you
just
can
hard.
Was this like the year
imagine.
before
We
I
are
came
the
in?
man.
Damn.
That's awesome.
It's definitely an interesting song to play, but like,
Start
yeah.
my day
I remember
upon you. Such
what was it like spring semester? I'm like, yo, can we do Nights by Frank Ocean, please?
Oh.
And
We'll
you
get
were like,
into
no,
we'll
we
get
can't.
into nights later. We'll have a whole 5-minute
For
talk
real.
says about
That's
nights. But yeah. So I also some standouts to me from Channel Orange. Obviously, Thinking About You is a great track. I mean,
That's like I feel like that's the mainstream.
That is
type.
the main.
Yeah, it
That
is.
the mainstream
I
one.
actually-
Everybody knows that one.
honestly, I really like Fertilizer, despite it only being 40 seconds. I always come back to Fertilizer.
Yeah.
Like I just Pyramids, obviously a great track.
Yeah, it's the longest
Pink
song.
Matter, Forrest Gump, I love.
Forrest
Gump.
Gump.
Religion too. That's a good one.
Yeah, so many good songs.
I like
What's some of your
Word,
how
John.
do you feel about Channel Orange in general? What's your favorite tracks, Jonathan?
So when I like listened to it at first, I was just like, wow, like this is what like back then when we were young teens, like I would listen. I was like, wow, like this is something new to me. It's all like different from what other music was, so that's why I gave it a lot of a listen. So I was just like, Jesus, like kind of planning am I on now?
Boy.
But like
Yeah.
songs that stand out to me that I love is the Super Rich Kids, Love Pyramids, and then the other one would be Lost. I love Lost. That's like
Lost is a
that's
good
like
one.
another one.
It's
so that's
groovy.
like close to the mainstream, but it's like people don't really listen to that
Yeah,
one. as
no,
much.
that's one I like off the top of my head. It took me a second to remember what you were talking about, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, but I feel like it's just it wasn't really as like Blonde and this one is two different things. Like,
Yeah,
you can
I
see-
want to get into that later about how we feel about the
Mhm.
contrasts.
Yeah.
So,
But
um,
yeah, overall, like I love this album. This album is like to me one of the greatest from him because that's where it blew him up. Like that's the
Agreed.
one that set
Mhm.
the standard
Yeah.
for himself.
Give him a Grammy too.
Exactly.
how do you feel about Channel Orange? What are some of your favorite tracks, Axel?
One of my favorite tracks of Channel Orange. My number one favorite track is Pink Matter with Andre 3000.
I love Andre 3000.
His verse was amazing. Frank Ocean obviously kills it too. Another track that stands out to me a lot is Bad Religion.
Mm.
Like I one of his lyrics was like, what was it? Like I forgot. It was like, how can you love something, but like, no, it's a sin. No. I forgot what it was. I forget, but
I get
that
it.
song just stands out to me. a lot.
Poetic
I
track.
feel like,
It's
I
like-
feel like yeah, weird. I
It's
feel
a
like
poetic
all
track.
of his verses all poetic, like no
Yeah.
matter which one.
And of course, Thinking About You is mainstream, but I like it too.
Oh, it's a good song.
Mhm.
And
A potato.
Potato.
yeah, I like that one too. But yeah, it's pretty
It's
much
crazy how Vine helped Frank Ocean blow
Yeah,
up
yeah,
in an
right,
odd
that's,
way.
That's what I was gonna say too. Like it was because of a girl, right? She was a
Yeah,
potato, and then people were like, "What is that song called?"
Yeah.
And then boom, I was just like, "Well, there it is."
Yeah.
Like,
Vine of all things.
Yeah.
6 seconds to make somebody worldwide famous and win them a Grammy.
Right?
facts.
Yeah.
Probably, he
Um,
probably hit her up. Was like,
yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
I'm doing new music now. You help me."
Yeah. All right, so should we go into Blonde?
Of course.
Blonde, man.
How many
What a-
years after?
4
Channel
years.
Orange.
This came out in August of 2016. So from only a 1 year gap, his fans were probably like, "Oh man, we're gonna get new music every year."
Mm-mm.
Frank Ocean fell off the face of the earth.
He really did.
Well, actually,
He said, "All right, I'm gonna head out after this."
yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
he dropped a few singles between them because
Yeah,
I'm pretty
and-
sure he wanted to stay relevant. Like
A little
but
bit.
he probably was just like, all right, let me just throw this for the.
but he
fans."
also, I did forget. We can't forget about Endless now, can we?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think we
yeah, it's
can
true.
in a way.
I mean,
In a way,
Endless,
yes.
we can forget about it, but it's still cool.
Yeah.
and this
yeah.
is
was-
this goes into how we
yeah.
finesse the system. Why don't you get into Excel?
All right, so it all started with like the label. How
Def
Frank
Jam?
Ocean did not like being part of a label. He wanted
Def
to be
Jam specifically.
Def Jam, yeah. And like he wanted to get out the label. He had like 2 years left, and he was like, "Yo, let me just give him like a really crappy album or whatever."
And he
And,
still managed to make it good.
Exactly.
And he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna just give them a video of me building stairs
Legit.
and
To some very lo-fi
to
music.
some lo-fi music in the background, right?" And he gave them that, and like he knew his contract was gonna end soon,
He knew he had to make one more album.
had to
It
make-
was
yeah,
like
he had
it
to
was a
make-
2-album deal.
right?
So he had to release that to be able to release his own thing.
Right. And then Apple Music had a $20 million check ready for him for his next album, I believe, wasn't it?
I think so. Something around that.
Or you guys want to add?
It was a lot of money though. Yeah.
was a lot of
because-
money.
No, I think it was a mill for his own album. Like I think what he did, he released Endless, gave that one a Def Jam, and then the day after, he
Yeah,
released
literally the day
Blonde.
after.
And I was just like, yo, he just finessed them. That was because I knew that he had to release. So I was like, oh man, like I was listening to Endless, like, cause I had to get freaking iTunes, and he didn't have a track list for that. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to listen to all these 45 minutes, but I was like, it's gonna be worth
Mhm.
it because it's him. Like,
Yeah.
he's gonna, he
Word.
probably make. I was
Yeah,
like, I
and
don't know, I'm
again-
gonna be able to crop this from this and then call it my own plate,
Yeah.
like song.
It's
name,
interesting how he's trying to make a bad album and it's still
It was
a
still
very nice album. Probably, if we were to rank his albums, I think we could all agree it's probably his least
Endless,
quality.
Just
Endless,
because,
yeah.
just
I mean, I don't know about Nostalgia. You've listened to some. You probably listened to the most Nostalgia. Do you think it's better than Nostalgia?
Personally, I think only that stands out in Endless are like a couple of songs. Like I would say Wither, Higgs was one, and what else did he have on there? I think Rushes too. Those are the only thing that stood out to me.
Okay,
I was just
interesting.
like, wow, like he actually, put some. Those could have been like singles, and it would have been nice. But nah, I think Nostalgia Ultra was probably better than Endless.
Okay.
So I feel like this one was probably ranked the lowest for him, but he did it on purpose, so
Yeah.
I could understand.
So then, yeah, next day, finesses the system.
Yeah.
And starts his own label, Blonded,
Right.
and drops Blonde.
See,
Who wants
oh, my bad.
what were you gonna say? No, go ahead.
I was gonna just continue on to like him finessing it. Like
Oh,
we never
yeah.
really heard about him. Really like, yo, Frank Ocean really did this until ASAP Rocky mentioned it in an interview, saying the music label doesn't mention how Frank Ocean did this because how embarrassed they are.
Yeah,
How
they
he
don't
really
want
did
to
that to
put
them.
that on blast.
Yeah, they don't.
Right. They're gonna be like, wow, this really just happened to us. So that's why I never knew about it until ASAP Rocky like mentioned it. I saw it in like an interview with him, but that was insane.
Yeah. Okay. So who wants to start with Blonde?
You want to take the reins, Miguel?
Yeah, Miguel, go for it, man.
Godspeed.
Godspeed.
That's all I gotta say.
Godspeed.
How you say that?
Is that your favorite song? Is that your favorite song?
Godspeed, yes. Future Free. No, well, Godspeed actually is one of my favorite. I'm not gonna lie though. Ivy was was the first song I listened to Blonde, and I was like, "Yep, this is it. This is Frank Ocean, like
In a
Prime.
song.
in his prime pinnacle. This is it." So,
This is like a new peak for me.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree. I remember I didn't even really listen. I was late to the party. I found out about Frank Ocean because he was trending on Twitter because he didn't drop an album, and for some
Oh.
reason I really thought he was gonna drop. I remember that whole time period very vividly because that's how I heard of him. So I was just like, I need to listen to his album when it comes out. And I saw his visual album, Endless. I was like, ew. And then I saw Blonde, and I was like, okay, I can listen to this one.
Yeah.
And dude, as soon as Nikes hit, first song Nikes, I lost it, man.
Yeah,
With the
I was
vocal
like,
effects,
wow.
I was like, what is this? Nikes is still one of my favorite tracks by him.
yeah.
Off of Blonde, I'll tell you, my favorite tracks include Nikes, Solo. I think
Yeah.
Solo is my
Mhm.
favorite song
Really?
by on this album.
Mm-hmm.
I love Self Control. I love Nights, obviously. Solo, the reprise where it does Andre 3000 is
I
amazing.
love that one.
Facebook Story,
Yeah.
great banger. And then White Ferrari with the Beatles sample.
Yep.
Love.
I think
Um,
Close to You is also pretty. That was his cover of the one Stevie Wonder song.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Close to You too as well.
Yeah, it's only a minute long, so yeah.
It's still pretty good though. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, I was part of those people that were literally up the whole damn. Like I literally was on the website when it was on Blonde, and he had the live thing going on, and I was just there 4 hours watching him build something. The first music, I was just like, bro, like something's going on. Every time I check Twitter, refresh everything all the time, and I would be so mad. I would be like, oh my god.
Mhm.
And when he dropped out, I was like, bro, you did all this for this. And then he dropped out, I was like, all right, like you really is my guy for doing that.
Yeah.
Because he dropped
Um,
Blonde right there, I was just like, oh my god. And right, like what he said when I clicked Ivy, I was just like, yep, this is him.
Yeah,
He
is
finally
Ivy
mastered, huh?
is Ivy your favorite song off of the
No,
album?
well, me and my girlfriend, we both love Pink and White. Like it. Just
That's
really
I want
was.
yeah.
I love Pink and
The only
White.
reason why I didn't mention Pink and White is because I didn't want to name literally every song on this album. So I strained from saying Ivy, Pink and White, Skyline 2, like pretty much every song.
I feel like Blonde is what everybody wanted. Like you know
Yes.
how everybody relates to music because they relate to the lyrics. I feel like that's what it is. Like
Mhm.
that's why I feel like people
I think
like Blonde more than they like Channel Orange.
honestly, I think Blonde, I just hit me. I feel like it's the perfect album for this whole generation.
Yeah.
It is.
Like
That's
Gen
what it really
Z,
is.
Like you
Like-
can't mention Frank Ocean without mentioning his album Blonde. In my
like
opinion.
Blonde. Okay, real quick before we get into your opinions, I was gonna see if this was even a contest. Do you guys all enjoy Blonde more than Channel Orange?
Ooh.
It's tough. It's
Okay,
like-
I enjoy Blonde more. Do you think it's better than Channel Orange? Because
Yeah,
there's a
I
difference
can
between liking it more and thinking it's better. So how do you feel about both? Do you like it more or do you think it's better? Because I think it's definitely better.
I do, yeah, I agree with
But
that.
I don't know.
because
I think I like it more, but I'm not sure.
the
But I
reason-
think
Yeah, go ahead.
if I had to name a best Frank Ocean album,
Mhm.
if somebody told me to give one album, honestly, no, actually, if somebody told me to give them an album, I'd probably give them Channel Orange because I feel like Channel Orange is easier to listen to. It's less experimental.
Really?
That's true.
Yeah, I think it's than Blonde. I think Blonde, like Future or Free and Godspeed, is gonna confuse people.
True.
Like, and Nikes, the first song is Nikes
Mhm.
versus Thinking About You.
Right.
I think it's easier to get into Channel Orange, but I
Yeah.
think Blonde is more impressive. I think it's kind of he takes Channel Orange and takes it up a notch. But how do you feel, Miguel? I can see you're having a tough
I'm
thought
just like,
process.
Want me to go
You're having
first?
like a spasm. You
That's
can,
all
okay.
you. That's
Give
all
some
you,
more
Jonathan.
time.
What I feel like, yeah, like you said, Channel Orange is easier to listen to for people who don't know who he really is, because it takes them to the roots of what like he become as an artist. Whereas when you listen to Blonde, for the people who already listen to Frank Ocean, they already think, boom, this is a masterpiece. But if you throw somebody in Blonde, they're gonna be like, all right, like I don't understand.
It's gonna take them a
what's
couple
happening.
listens.
Yeah, because then from there they think, oh, like he's experimental. But like you listen to people like us who listen to him like a lot, it's like wow, like that's good music. You listen to Channel Orange, it still is good music, but like you said, I feel like it'll be easier for them to listen to.
Are you ready, Miguel? Or do you want Excel to go
It's
first?
difficult to say the similarities and the differences between Channel Orange and Blonde. Both are different mediums, to say the least. But if anything, if you had to pick, I personally go with Channel Orange over Blonde.
As a favorite or
As a-
better?
So as a favorite.
As a favorite. See, there's a difference. I understand.
Yeah, I personally, just because like.
Do you not know which one's better? Do you not feel
No,
confident in saying
that's
either?
just it's just hard. I
Because
can't.
music
no-
is subjective.
Yeah.
When I mean better, it's like with some artists you can like My Chemical Romance, Black Parade is obviously their best album.
Okay.
It might not be everyone's favorite, but like everyone kind of acknowledges like yeah,
Okay.
they were in a certain headspace where it's like nothing tops that.
I can see that. Yeah. But just for me, man, it's just I can't pick.
Frank Ocean's albums are like Miguel's kids. He can't choose a favorite.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that was
There you go.
good.
Yeah. There you go.
But
So what about you, Excel? You didn't even talk about Blonde to begin with
No,
that
I
much. So
didn't.
what are your favorite tracks off of Blonde?
Blonde is amazing in my opinion. I like Blonde a lot better than Channel Orange.
You think you like it more and think it's better?
Yeah.
Oh,
I even have a Blonde poster on my in my room.
Yeah.
I love Pink and White. Be Yourself is very inspirational. And I also like Solo Reprise with.
Solo
I forgot
Prize?
the-
Yeah, for Andre
Solo Reprise
3000.
we have with Andre 3000.
Yep.
See, I love all these songs, bro. I can't like really.
Yeah, I know. That's how I feel.
So like, what makes it different from like that you like prefer Blonde over Channel Orange? Is it just because like you just like you can relate a lot to it more than you do with Channel
Most
Orange?
definitely, yes. With like all the like the most, I like the first part of Blonde, from going to Nikes to Ivy to Pink and White. Pink and
Such a
White with like the beginning piano going to the acoustic. I thought it was like one of the most beautiful things.
Such
ever.
a strong beginning to an album. Those first three
Most
songs,
Definitely, yes. I agree. But
and then he calms it down with a skit, and then hits you right with solo. It's so well paced.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if I'm gonna be honest, when I first listened to Nike, I was just like, okay, this one I gotta hold off of this one for a little bit, because I wanted to give it a good listen. 'Cause I was just like, okay, I don't know what he's trying to say there. But then now, like when I finished with it, I was like, all right, now I think I'm time for Nikes. Boom, listen to it. I was just like, Jesus Christ, he made a masterpiece. I was like,
Word.
wow.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Blonde is a very good album. Obviously. There's not much else to say really.
anything you guys
I
want to
think-
add on to?
so like, I don't know how I feel like about for his new album, since like they say it's been 4 years technically. So the gap of 4 years, what was it, 2012 when he released?
Yeah,
2016.
2016. So
Orange.
it's only been 3 years. I mean, it's
So I
been
feel
3.
like-
It probably won't release till 2020.
Yeah, that's
So
what I feel like.
That'll be
he's
another 4
ranging it
years.
to.
Yeah.
So I don't know when is it, but we could anticipate 2020 an album. I do hope, but it's just weird because his first when DHL came on, you saw those little things in his picture, in his cover picture. And I
Right.
was just like, those could possibly be his track list. And then I seen on like Instagram, like Frank Ocean pages, like they put pictures together from his website, because you know how you used to post, like they used to say Boys Don't Cry was gonna be an album and all
Mhm.
this other stuff. They took
Yeah.
those magazine pictures and put them on there. So I feel like from there he's making music based off of that.
One thing I want to add on to is that Frank Ocean's like, I see Frank Ocean's like as a rare person. Like he doesn't do interviews. Like Like literally with DHL and In My Room, he didn't even say, "Yo guys, I'm dropping a song at midnight" or this.
He doesn't really have social media.
He doesn't like do anything. He's just like, we have to find out ourselves. Hey, Frank Ocean dropped the song, but like he doesn't do interviews. He doesn't like announce a day. Like
He just
yo,
has blonded radio.
Yeah.
He's just like a rare person. Like I feel like he would just catch on to.
I was
Yeah.
just mad that I didn't get to go to his concert yet.
You
Like,
have
I
time. You have
legit-
time.
Did he ever do like a blonded tour?
No.
No,
He
right?
just does like festivals and stuff.
Yeah, like Coachella. I
Mhm.
hope if he goes there, I'm definitely going over there.
Crossing fingers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna,
Yeah.
I'd go to
For sure.
Coachella.
I would.
Word.
I
It's on my
mean,
bucket
yeah.
list too.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, so now to move on from Blonde, he's released some singles, not just the new ones, because we already talked about the new ones. We're talking about
Yes,
first one he dropped was Chanel.
Chanel
love
is a
that song.
masterpiece in my opinion.
Chanel might be my favorite Frank Ocean song in general. It's up
Yeah.
there for
My
me.
God, pretty like a girl. Sorry.
Yeah, Chanel, Solo, and Sweet Life are probably my top three. If we're going, or Chanel's my favorite of the singles he's released of all of them,
Mm-hmm.
which is close, but yeah. Solo's my favorite off of Blonde. Sweet Life is my favorite off of Channel Orange. Blonde probably has like 3 in my top 5.
Yeah.
Like obviously, I might like Nike's more than Sweet Life. I'm not sure, like stuff like
I
that,
can
you
see
know.
that.
But those are my top 3 from every situation with
I can
Frank
see that,
Ocean.
yeah.
But so how do you guys feel about Chanel?
I like it a lot. It's probably like it also went mainstream, like pretty good too.
Yeah. For a single, it was pretty good. For a single.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. Like it's just like again, it brings his rhythm, and I was just like, wow. Like I hope he freaking continues to do this. Like it's just like you can hear the same flow, but it's not the same.
It's not.
It's
no.
not the same. Like as
Right.
another artist, like you
Yeah.
can hear their same flow. Like not to point out anybody, like the baby. I don't know if you guys listen to.
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
the
the
baby.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the
The
baby has the
baby.
same flow, but
He
like,
does.
it sounds the same. I'm just like, alright.
The
like,
Migos
it's-
always do that.
His they're just pure ad-libs in my opinion.
Yeah, but like Frank Ocean, he's like different, has the same flow, but
Dun,
just
dun,
different.
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
See
dun.
both sides, actually. Like it's just like
Dun,
wow,
dun,
man.
dun,
See, I feel like
dun.
2017 was the year for him to just drop all these singles on us.
Yep.
Yes, because I don't remember what was next. I don't know the order they
Was
came
it
out.
Biking.
I'm
Biking
pretty
was
sure
next with
Biking.
Jay-Z.
What about lenses?
Lens
that
was
before?
Lens was
Lens
after,
was-
yeah.
Lens
Lens
was
was
after.
after. Okay.
What
Chanel,
about
Biking.
Okay, so
Lens.
Biking.
And then
Biking is my
Biking.
second of the singles.
Okay.
I love Biking. I love Tyler's feature.
Mm-hmm.
That was the remix, right, with Tyler
I don't
and
think he was
Jay-Z.
even a remix. I think that was just what he released.
Because he released Biking solo and then
Oh,
Yeah,
he
Biking-
did.
Biking remix,
I didn't know that actually. I've only heard the remix.
Oh,
I
it just
think.
released actually. Yeah, Biking remix.
No, the remix has been out for a couple of
Has
years.
it?
Yeah, I remember it came out in
in
2017.
2017.
Oh no, it was another song.
'Cause-
forget
Yeah, I
which
know what
one
you're
it is.
talking
It was
about. I
like
forgot.
it was Chanel, then Biking solo. Then no wait, it was Chanel, then Biking with Jay-Z and Tyler the Creator,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it was Lens.
yeah.
And then
So
after Lens
Biking
Was
is
it Slide? Slide came after that.
Slide
Calvin
is
Harris?
Calvin
Was
Harris.
Calvin Harris, yeah. that
Yeah,
was
I
his
don't- I
album.
don't
That was
include
his,
that.
Yeah, I think it
But,
featured Frank Ocean.
Yeah, so Biking, great Jay-Z intro at the beginning. Handball like the sign.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then I love Frank singing on the song, and I love Tyler's
From the
contribution.
cold water to the sharks.
Yeah, Frank, that's mom.
I love Tyler's that was tough.
I'm surprised
great.
no one has said Moon River yet.
Moon River's
Oh,
2018.
Moon
though.
River. That's
Yeah.
2018. That's a bit
Yeah.
later. That's a bit later. I'm trying to go. in
Oh, you're
order.
going in
But-
order. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
going up.
But that was
Um,
a cover, right? Wasn't that a cover? Yeah,
Yep.
it was a cover from.
Yeah.
I forget that old. I don't even know what his name is, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it was a cover. But
Leonard Cohen.
what?
or something, I don't know.
Frank Ocean.
Moon
for
River. I'll look it. I'll look it up.
The cover?
Yeah,
it was
who's-
a cover. He made a cover for somebody.
Oh wait.
like it was. He sung
It's a
it.
classic song. Moon River. is
Yeah, it's a
song in
classic
general.
song.
Yeah.
Oh, Audrey Hepburn.
Mm,
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I couldn't think of it.
It's all
I
good.
I've known that song.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then so but before so we pretty much yeah. So there's Lens with Travis, right?
No, it's just
Does
Lens.
not.
just
Oh, I
just
always
his
think
own.
confused. It looks like a Travis cover
Yeah,
to
yeah,
me.
yeah.
But it,
I
there
always
is-
think it's Travis.
There is
'cause
a Travis version on YouTube.
Mhm.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
Lens
there
is
is.
probably my least favorite of the singles,
I like
but I still
Lens.
enjoy it.
I'm not gonna lie, I never listened to it.
Oh,
really?
I've never even heard it. I was like,
Wow.
well, yeah, there's Lens. I know there was there, but I just never ever
It's
listened to it.
it's a good song. I would say it's pretty okay, but like when I listened, I think from the beginning it was just like okay, like I don't know. What
It's like a
kind of
slow
track-
piano. You
Yeah.
hear a slow piano, and then you hear like Frank Ocean rapping really fast, but with
Mhm.
auto tune on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
very
You
that's-
interesting.
gotta take a listen.
So that's
see how you
Lens.
feel about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that is Biking solo, just
Yeah.
him,
Mm-hmm.
no features.
I don't think I ever listened to that one.
That one's good
That
too.
one I haven't listened to either.
I Now that I've listened to, because it's just because it's like
It's just
guitar.
him?
Yeah, it's him and a guitar. That's why. So
Mm,
I
I
like
believe
it.
so.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds
Uh,
nice.
I'm gonna
I'll
be
check
honest
it
with you
out.
guys. The next song is Provider. I never really listened to that song.
Oh wow, I've never
That
really
was
listened
that
to
was for,
Provider either.
that's lo-fi. Now that's some. That's
I think
some
I
good
have
lo-fi.
listened to it, but I forgot it. I completely forgot about Provider.
Yeah, nah,
Like
you
Lens,
should.
I still remember, even though I listened to it like once. Provider, I forgot about.
No, Provider's like that's it definitely
It's really different. Like,
yeah.
I even know how to explain it. To be fair, It
It's
was
still
just-
experimental too, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's like I can definitely say that's more trap lo-fi.
Oh, okay.
So
And
and
then,
Moon River,
then Moon River came in 2018.
Which I mean, yeah, it's solid. It's a cover.
I love it. I personally
love
love it. Yeah, just
yeah.
'cause, like guitar and then like just
It's
his
great.
voice, his unique voice.
There's way more like I feel like covers Frank could have released. Like I don't know if you. I think on his Instagram it was one where he was singing The Weeknd.
Yeah, The
Oh, by
Weeknd by
SZA.
SZA. I want
Yeah.
that so
I wanted
bad.
that one so bad. I was
You
really
look
jealous 'cause
9 to 5
yeah, on the weekend.
Make
yeah, I
him
was just
lose his
like, wow.
mind.
You can hear him singing
I-
it too.
I-
was like,
yeah.
bro, please let me.
I never knew that even existed until like I remember one day we texted him. Like I think it was like last month. We texted you like, "Yo, listen to this version of
So
Oh yeah, that's in your snippet. on
Yeah.
SoundCloud. Yeah, I remember.
I liked it a lot.
Mhm.
But word.
good.
And then yeah, after that was DHL. Then
Yep.
Yeah, so
Now we're
back to
getting
full
back
circle.
To the present.
in my room.
Yeah, and
Wait, so you guys like listen to him like every day?
not
Like,
every day, but
but, like,
most
he's
days.
definitely
The
on my
most days I
playlist.
listen to, at least now I listen to DHL pretty much every day.
Yeah, that's.
But
what's
before
like-
that, I'd listen to Blonde like at least once a week, definitely.
Yeah,
I
that's
very
okay,
much
bro.
enjoy him.
I
I
always
wouldn't.
have him in my shuffled playlist.
I know
Yeah.
I'm not like one of his biggest fans, but just as a music fan,
Mhm.
you have to appreciate what Frank does.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm just a huge music fan.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not the biggest fan. I'd love to see him live. I'm not gonna drop $100 over. I'm not gonna drop more than $100 on tickets.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna drop $75 on a merch that says a word on it, which I could probably make myself.
Word.
Yeah.
That's what I can. That's what I was saying. I can make
Yeah.
a merch. But, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I do enjoy him. I
Yep.
have liked every project he's released. I'm very excited for this upcoming project. I do feel like DHL and In My Room is maybe you could say not on the level of Blonde or Channel Orange. Just like what I mean by that is hopefully these aren't the best songs on his new album.
Yeah.
Hopefully these are like middle tier tracks.
I can see.
Like hopefully there's still gonna be like a solo or a Nights or a Thinking About You. Like these are
Yeah.
like these are using to disguise like what really is gonna be happening in a way.
It gives it like a preview. I can see
Yeah.
what you mean. Like I don't think he put his best foot. forward
Yeah,
doing that, but
exactly.
He's saving that because he wants,
Because if these are the best, it'll still be a good album.
Yeah.
It just won't be nearly as great or as important as Blonde or Channel Orange.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see where you're coming from. I hope it's like as good as he's anticipating it to be, even though he's not trying to anticipate. anything,
Yeah,
you
it's
know what
us
I mean?
anticipating.
Yeah, it does. Like he's probably just like, oh, I'm messing with y'all. Like,
But there's definitely like hype around this new upcoming album though. Like
Yep.
people are gonna be looking forward for it anyways, whether it's good or bad.
Everything Frank does, there's hype.
Yeah.
Doesn't
most
matter what it
definitely.
is. And it's crazy because he's the least hype person in the
Club
history.
follows.
and he barely has
hard.
features in it too. Like as you
Yeah.
can see, like with all the artists.
I don't know how Calvin Harris pulled him.
Yeah.
How did
right?
Calvin Harris pull Frank Ocean for a radio hit?
Like I want to see one with Travis Scott. At least a
Oh,
feature
yeah.
with Travis Scott.
Yo,
That
I
would-
would say ASAP Rocky.
ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted
that was
more
a
on
good-
Tyler. He was on obviously on Flower Boy as part of
Mm-hmm.
the Chirp Chirp. Whatever, I forget what song.
Oh,
that-
9/11.
9/11,
9/11,
Mr. Lonely, yeah.
Yeah, Chirp Chirp.
you guys like want to talk about what's your favorite Frank Ocean like feature as like on like other
Um,
artists?
I think my favorite feature is either the Tyler or No Church in the Wild.
Yeah.
So they're the first that come to mind. No Church in the Wild is perfect for not only that song but for Frank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could
It
definitely see
really
that.
was. I agree too. I feel like the feature. Yeah, I feel like No Church in the Wild was one of the best features that I feel like he got put on. That was really good. I like that song.
Personally, for me, it's like just because it's Frank Ocean aesthetic. I think it was in the Life of Pablo, just Frank's track of him just singing.
Frank's
Frank
Track.
Track. That's what we named the episode
Yeah.
after.
But they changed it, right?
Yeah.
It used to be called Wolves, right?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
whoa.
It's the same song.
Well,
it's
it's
just-
it's him singing Wolves,
Yeah.
which is on
Yeah,
Life of
but they
Pablo. They have Wolves and they have Frank's Track right
Oh,
after.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's
I
him
thought it
just
was like a
singing
nice little
Wolves.
touch of like
Yeah.
Kanye to do that.
It's the
There's
inspiration
that,
for
and
this
then,
episode.
I thoroughly enjoy REF with like the ASAP Mob, Quavo.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was
really nice.
I
his
don't know
like
if I'm familiar with that one.
Rap.
That
it
one
was
it was like it
R.A.F.,
was part
yeah.
of like his rap. That's when you hear him rap.
it was
Yeah.
ASAP
like,
Mob.
ASAP.
It was
that's when you hear him rap. Like, I was just like, dude, like, he can really rap. Like that's
This,
what I heard
it was my bad. It was ASAP Rocky, Quavo, Lil Uzi, Playboy Cardi, and Frank
See,
Ocean.
like wow, like you see all those
Cool.
artists, and it was a good song.
It's like the Power
That
Rangers.
song's like a low key song. to
Power
me.
Rangers.
To me, I don't really see people post it,
Nope.
put it on. I don't really hear. I'm just like, bro, like that was.
That's
a good
where
song.
you could see his actual lyrical flow in
Mhm.
terms of R&B
Yeah.
rap.
And of
yeah.
course, he came last because they always save best for last. Like Jay's always
Word,
last
yeah.
on the track.
Yeah.
It's just like
Definitely.
little,
You gotta
like,
close it with
30
Frank.
minutes.
Also, him being on No Church in a While was a really big deal. Him getting that feature on a Kanye, Jay-Z when they were at the top of their games, respectively.
Yeah.
To be able to be a part of that is just shows you how much respect he holds in the music industry for some kid to just pull it off like that.
One of my favorite Frank Ocean features has to be on Astroworld, where he was on Carousel with Travis
yeah.
Scott.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like those two create like a good dynamic of a sound with like the auto tune and like the production behind it. I thought it was pretty great in my opinion.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that kind of covers it all. I mean, went
Yeah.
deep into depth with Frank. I don't think there's much to add. You guys good with how this went?
Well, to be fair, I'll just say that's my greatest artist. Like,
Wow.
that's my number one.
Your number
Like,
one.
He's up
that's
there.
my number one. I wouldn't say he's the GOAT yet, but he's in the making of it. Like, from him being very diverse.
I'm glad you said
like,
that. Yeah.
That's like a really good thing for him because like you can see all these other artists. Like, he's kind of like a Tupac, but in our generation.
In a way, yeah. I
don't
like
know
that
if
a
people
lot
make
more.
That comparison.
Yeah.
I
Bold.
stand that ground.
Yeah,
Word.
that is bold, but hey, you're the one who made it.
Yeah, I know. I would just say like
I'm not gonna disagree. I'm not gonna say anything. What about you, Miguel? Anything you want to add real quick while we wrap up?
Frank Ocean is love and Frank Ocean is life.
Indeed.
Yeah,
That's the best way to end this episode.
that is
So yeah, I mean, this has
Frank's
been
episode.
Frank's episode 3. Third time was the charm, indeed.
Yeah.
And as always, I'm Andrew.
I'm XL.
Miguel.
Jonathan.
Thanks for watching. Double A.
Hey.